Okay, so we're going to walk through just kind of the steps we would take for a seller CMA. And feel free to jump out with any questions that you guys have as we go. I'll try to be paying attention to the chat and then just seeing if there's any little hints or tips or tricks. So when we go to present, I'm just going to do create new, and I'm going to select seller. So you have a couple options. You can do no templates. If you have your templates here, you can do that, which really I would highly recommend. Once you put together a seller CMA, you have the pages you want, you have the order you want the pages to be, that you just save it as your seller template, because then in the future, you're just putting in the property, putting in your comps, and you know everything else is good to go, and it really saves you a lot of time. But for right now, we're going to look at the brokerage templates. So we have basically a default seller template, and this is just going to have the pages for the report. And then we also have a brokerage page. You can see 65. So this just has every possible page that the brokerage and marketing has made for you guys that could go in this presentation. So if you're starting and if you are looking to save your template and you want to make sure you have all the pages, you might want to start with the brokerage template and then just go through, look at the pages, delete the ones you don't want, reorganize. It will take a little bit of time. It's 65 pages to go through, but again, you save that template, you're ready to go in the future. But we're just going to do the report pages, and then I can show you how to add brokerage pages in. So we can always do this, have the basic pages, and then add any pages that we usually like to talk about in our presentations. So I'm going to click continue. And then when you are naming it, it says prepared for, just to encourage you to use the seller's name. The property address will already go in there automatically. And so then listing source for anyone that has multiple MLSs, and we're going to create. It usually takes a second or two to just pull up because it's kind of pulling together this whole report. And first, I just kind of want to draw your attention up here to the top. These are kind of the sections of your report. So I have my subject property. We're going to put that in first. We have the search where we can look for comps, pull in comps, and then listings. This is going to kind of just show us all the data revolving around the comps that we pulled in the search. We have, of course, our estimate, which is a huge part of the CMAs. And then we have our pages where we can rearrange, get it, put it all together. So that's kind of just important because they are kind of like menu options. You can see I can click on this and it will take me directly into that page if there's one that I need to edit. So here we have, again, prepared for seller's name. So I could fix that right here if I needed to. And then we have copy data from MLS. So if your property has been in the MLS before, you can just pull in the MLS data, copy it in. I'm going to do that in a second, and it's just going to pull in all that information, which saves you a bunch of time. But if it has not been in the MLS before, you can just start filling this out. You'll notice none of these are required because you basically can put in the information that you think is important, especially in regards to what comps will be pulled. So I can just put in the address. I can put in any of this if it's necessary. You know, elementary, middle school, high school, that might not be that important for comps, depending, you know, your location. But down here, bedrooms, baths, square foot, lot size, year built, you know, they put a lot of fields, but really you're just putting in the ones that are relevant for the CMA, what's important to you and your client, and then for those comps that you'll pull. So I'm going to come up here, and I just had grabbed a MLS number to copy in. pulls in the picture, pulls in all this information. So you can see here, you know, all this stuff is not really something you'd put in if you weren't just pulling it in from the MLS, because I mean, you don't exactly, you might not know if side load garage is the, you know, correct terminology that your MLS uses just off the top of your head. But this stuff all just pulls in when you copy it in, even the remarks, and then all the information. So we're just going to continue. Again, if you have any questions, just, you know, shout them out, put them in chat. I'm looking. But now we're on to the second. We've done our subject property, filled that out. Now we're on to search. And so right up at the top, location versus MLS number. So if you always do your comps in MLS, you have it down pat to a science, exactly what you do is your comfort zone. Feel free to keep doing that. I can toggle over to MLS and then just put in my MLS numbers up here and they'll pull in. So that's always an option for you. But I will say that the search option in MoxiPresent has continued to just get better and better with what it pulls, especially from where it started. So always feel free to check that out too. As we can see, we already have some comps that are pulling up. I can always, you know, look at the details of one and it will pull it up, you know, just to make sure this is the comp that I want, to kind of check it out. And maybe I'm like, I kind of want to broaden the range a little bit. I can see the price and I can put a minimum and maximum. So here we go. I'll just do 700 to, I guess I want to keep all of these. So I'll just do 1500. Just to see if I can pull in any additional ones. So that's still the same beds and baths we have here. Maybe we'll do 327. Again, I'm not here to necessarily talk you through how to get good comps. So please just keep that in mind. That's not my expertise. I'm just kind of showing you what this tool can do. And then filters. So if for some reason you're not getting any properties that are showing up and you know you should, you can feel free to play around with the filters here. I can just broaden this to 3,000 to, you know, say 5,000 square feet. Lot size is 0.525 and it's acres. So again, depending on the land, maybe you want to move that to square feet or something, year built. You can kind of be as specific or as not specific as you want in here, and, you know, maybe start specific and then just start broadening it until you get some comps. And then we can see active, sold within the last 6 months. And then here's my other categories. And so you can kind of just keep playing around until stuff pops up. So just what I did there, we went from 5 potentials to 15. But of course, you know, it might not be good comparable comps. But we're just going to grab a couple. We'll grab this one, and I just want this too. We'll just grab these guys. So you can see I'm just grabbing them here. It's a check mark. I can get rid of them by just checking on it again. And then you can see right now I have 5 listings that I'm going to be looking at. So we'll continue. Oh, I keep yawning. I'm so sorry. I don't even feel tired. So now we have our listings page. So we're going to have our subject property up at the top where it says here's the list price, the dollar per square foot. And then over here, we're going to have our listing summary. It's going to show us the low and the average and high of our active, pending, and solds. I have 2 actives, 1 pending, 2 solds. And this could be other. I can change the order of this if I want to. You also can order it here, price low to high, and there's 2 options. So I could do high to low, active to sold, just so that this is how my, you know, reports are going to look. Or I could do active to sold first, and then do price high to low. So here I have my actives, my pendings, my sold. I like to group them up like that. You do have that option. And then we're going to kind of see price per square foot. I have the 212, I have a 215, and you can kind of just look through this. Again, I can remove them. I can come down here and add more listings just to really get, what I want to be showing my client that I think accurately, depicts the houses around this property. Sometimes there can be, like, say, square foot. Sometimes if it has to do with a basement or something, like maybe the square foot's a little bit off, because it's including everything and it has like a unfinished basement or something like that. You can kind of replace with a custom listing, so you can kind of edit it to more accurately reflect if what present pulled isn't quite the correct representation for this property. You can do that. That's kind of what this is. Edit remarks. This is just the remarks that the other agent put in here. You can again see listing details to be like, yeah, this one really just isn't comparable. I should get rid of it. And then the add or edit adjustment for the property price. If you knew, example, new roof, this you could put that in. I don't think typically people touch much in this when they're going, but just so you know that these options are available to you, that's kind of what you can do with these here. But really, you're looking at this page. If you're satisfied, then we can come down and click continue. Okay, here we go. So now we're on to the estimate page. So here, pricing stats. Based off, the comps that we pulled, this should be the market price, which I think it was 830 or something. So clearly my comps are not great, but I was more so pulling them in just to show you. But it's important because sometimes these numbers are zero. And that is just because average price of sold comparables. So if I don't have any solds, if it's just actives and pendings, it doesn't have anything to pull those stats from. So just so it's not broken, but that's why this is going to be O or 0, just because these are all pulled based off of sold comparables. So if you don't have any sold comparables in this presentation, those are going to be marked 0, which really is just helping you with an estimated pricing. It's nothing really that's going to be showing. And then there's the listing summary page down here. You can even create a range for this. Write your remarks to be like, say if you got that new roof, we could maybe go on the higher end, write comments that you want in here. There's also this estimated net proceeds. I would more so say this is probably something they're going to be talking to their mortgage person with, all of this stuff. So that's up to you, or you can talk to Matt about that if he thinks there's anything you should be doing in that. But yeah, usually I just hear the mortgage person is talking to them about that. And then the last thing, so once we do continue, we're going to get to the pages where we can actually dive into the presentation itself. So I always like to first kind of just show you some of your menu options, just so that you're aware of those. If we want to view this, all MoxiPresents come in 2 forms. We have the dynamic web version. And so what's great about this is because it's a URL, you can share it. It can even be a QR code. This is what you could share if you were doing an open house and you wanted to have, the listing presentation in there, but it's dynamic. It's going to be changing and updating as stuff happens from the MLS. So if one of those, active listings goes pending, it's going to reflect that. The print, this is great to leave behind. You can make a really nice packet with it, but it is going to be, static. It's not going to change with it, but some people really like to just have something in their hands. So again, it's knowing your client, what your client's going to want, and just knowing your options with that. We can also just send this. So you can just, put in their name, a little greeting message, send it to yourself. You can send the presentation, this is web form, or you can send the PDF, which is the print, or you can do both if they want something to print out. But just so you know, this is web version, this is the PDF print, and you can always send a copy to yourself. So your settings really, again, just changing this name of the presentation if you need to, and then more. So MoxiPresent allows you to make your own quick flyers. If you need to, we can talk about that in another session. But if you need to make flyers in a pinch, MoxiPresent is pretty great with that. And if you ever have a co-presenter, assigned agent is really just for teams, because if you assign it, like if I assign it to Susan, I don't have it in my MoxiPresent anymore. It's only in hers. So that's just the difference of assigning it versus the co-presenter. Co-presenter, it's going to show in both with both of your names and pictures on there. Assigning to an agent, it's gone. So that's just kind of some of your options. You can see the web and the print view here. There you go. And then we have up here presentation page library. So again, if you're really wanting to look through the library, see what pages you like, you can do that. Templates, I'm going to show you just at the end how you can save this as your own template, because I think that's just a huge benefit. And then branding, just to peek at this, just so you know, if you have maybe a luxury listing or something, you can change that pretty easily. If I click on that, it's going to change, and I would just click apply, and I have my luxury branding, the black and white. I'm going to go back to just the default, which is still on because that's what's checkmarked. If you have a personal logo, that's done under my account, but if I edit that, it's going to just take me right to where I need to go, and you can put in a personal logo there and have that displayed. So we can see we're in my brand, here's signature, but I'm going to go over to logo. So that's something you could work on with the market concierge services. They can help a lot with your MoxiPresent to get it to the level that you want it to be. And then if you're doing these PDFs, so again, it's the print version. There's a couple of different headers. If you like that, this is just because it doesn't need to show the whole page. It's just showing you what it looks like at the top. This is what I have. And I, of course, have them matching with the footers. I think that looks good. But that's just kind of branding that you can play around with. But for the most part, you're not really going to be touching branding that much unless you're switching to luxury, or you're one time, putting in your personal logo, or choosing your PDF, which one you like the most. It's kind of a one-time thing, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to go back to my presentation, and we'll go into pages. So again, we're looking at the web view, the dynamic. Anything, if I hover over that has a pencil, it means there's some editing options. Cover page has a lot of editing options. You can get rid of your agent photo if you want. If for some reason there wasn't an image of the house, if you didn't just pull it from the MLS and it's just blank and you don't like how it looks blank, I could just add an image here that I wanted. Maybe I took a picture of the house myself when I drove by, or I just grabbed a picture of the, like Lake Wiley, the area, something like that. I could just add that in. PDF cover design. So this is only for if you're doing a PDF. If you're doing the web version, then it doesn't matter. But you have a couple different options you can use for your PDF. So it never hurts, especially as you're just getting familiar with this. If you have an extra, 5 minutes while creating this, to just click and see your options here. It's going to let you know if it's for print only and doesn't apply. But as we go through this presentation, so we have our cover page, we have the property summary, and so see, they can take a virtual tour right here if they wanted to. That's kind of another benefit of the web version. Listing location map. You know, here's the properties. It's going to pull it up for me right here. Just really cool. I'm a pretty big fan of the web view, just because of how flexible it can be. The fact that you can even edit it. If they were like, well, what about, you know, this property down the street that just sold, and maybe you know that it's not comparable at all, but they still just want to see it. You can just quick add that in for them and then talk through the differences and why it's, you know, a little bit different if you wanted to. So we can just keep going side by side comparisons with that. And again, any of these pages, there's this little X mark, so you can get rid of them. If you're just like, we don't need this because we're seeing the side by side comparison. Remove it. This is your presentation. This is what you sit down and walk through with a client. So we want it to be, there we go. We want it to be what is a natural flow for you, how you do this, and then just have this to be as a supplement for you to walk through. So really, you know, rearrange. Maybe I want the side-by-side comparisons before the listing location map. Grab it, drag it up. We also have status comparisons, listing averages. Again, they can kind of just pop around. Price and days on the market. Again, anytime we see this edit button, I can add in my, you know, subject property. Hover over, it's going to show me price and size. So again, you might not need all of these graphs in there. Totally up to you. It might be missing something that you really like that marketing uses. You can upload any PDF that you have in here. And then this last page is going to be, oh, see, so we didn't do anything with the net proceeds, so I could just delete that. And then the last page is just going to be you. And so again, if we are in, if I go up to my name in the top right, you go to my account. I just want to show you where that information pulls from. Personal information, contact information. So if I go to edit this, you know, here is, this is my primary email. This is my direct phone. I could put it in both if I want to. And then web info. So this is where I can do the about me section, add that in, write, copy and paste your bio into this, or write a new bio. That's maybe specifically for presentations. So someone's already knows a little bit about you. That's why they asked you to do a presentation for you. So maybe you want to go a little bit deeper here about why you're qualified. You can even add in some social media. It's going to tell you it's probably better to do your business page than personal, and then you would just save it. And that's what's going to pull into this section right here. Again, say you work with the marketing concierge service. Maybe you're really comfortable with Canva. You could do your own kind of bio page where you have your bio, you have your contact information, you maybe have some social media, and then maybe you also added some of your, you know, best testimonials all on a page. I could just delete this, come up to add page. When I do create new, it allows me to build my own or upload a PDF. So building our own, that is a whole nother class to go over. So we're not going to go into that now, but uploading a PDF, you know, Canva, a lot of other places will allow you to save as a PDF. And of course, the marketing concierge service is a great resource as well. So that's just kind of how you could upload some PDFs. And then add page from library. So the last thing I'm going to show you in this tour is just, so here we have our partner pages, because this is the pages in your report right here. This is the ones I've removed, the ones that allow me to add it back in if I wanted to. Partner pages, so that's anything right now we mainly just have buy side. But I could add in that buyer heat map or the buyer activity, featured buyers. I I can view what that would look like too real quick if I wanted to. But again, it's so easy to delete pages that you can just add them all in and then look through them and delete them there too. That way. But I can just add, I really want to do the heat map, an online activity. We have your custom pages will be here to add in, and they'll be saved. And then we have the brokerage pages. So we can see 313. I also kind of have access to everything. So your number will probably be a little bit smaller. I'm not in your account, so I can't 100% tell that, but I think so. But right here, they have it pretty set up for you guys where it says seller. And then it just kind of says, why choose Allen Tate? Allen Tate and Howard Hanna. We are local. We are global. So you could be like, oh yeah, why choose Allen Tate? Is there anything in there that would really speak to my client? So why choose Allen Tate? Okay, this is just the title page. Might not need that one in there. Family of companies. Oh, here's our one-stop kind of shop idea. I love this. I definitely talk about this, add it in. You can kind of just go through BSI and kind of just go through and add the pages that you want. Why choose me? Yeah, why choose me? Client testimonials. If you're in any of these circles, President Circle, Red Penguin, all this stuff marketing is already set up for you. So I can just add these pages in, click up here, go back to my presentation. So again, just so you know, I can either click pages up here. It's probably the easy one. And then we're going to see here, everything I added went to the bottom. So I can just kind of arrange that how I want it to be. And then there you go. So then at the bottom, it says save as template. I have 2 more minutes with you guys. Save as template. I can then say, my seller template right here. I can just click the category and save it. That way you're not having to go into the brokerage library and click through the pages you want every single time. You can make as many templates as you want, really. So you can even be specific about if it's, a luxury property, if maybe you are trying to get a FSBO or, anything like that, you can use specific templates. And really, you'll have the great marketing material that marketing is put together for you guys. But also, you're not having to look through it every single time. You're not missing out, but you're not wasting your time because you sat down for 30 minutes one time, you made a template, you love it. And now all you have to do is put in your property and your comps. So I am just a huge fan of save as template. Really saves you guys a lot in the long run. But you of course need like the 30 minutes to just make sure the presentation is what you want it to be. There we go, with 1 minute to spare. Do you have any questions on anything with this? The main focus of today was just walking through a seller CMA, kind of showing you the options you have, the flexibility of the tool. Okay, I don't think we have any questions. So there you have it. You both know how to reach me if you ever need anything, but hopefully you walked away learning at least one thing that you didn't know before. Or if not, I'll just do better next time. Hope you guys have a great Monday.